Hey folks, this is Dave Wood talking to you from my home out in the mountains in Costa Rica. I'm here with a special guest today, John Wells. Now, I met John actually when I was going around speaking at a couple of events. I stopped in Las Vegas. We did an event in Las Vegas. About 50 people showed up. I actually don't know if John even lives near Las Vegas. He drove from like 4 hours away. But he showed up, and we were asking people to tell their stories about their experiences with Empower Network in this meeting. And he was like, yeah, I got in and just kind of did what I said and had $300 to my name, and I've made like $30,000. And I said, what? So I actually had to look him up. I looked him up in the member database, and he has. I think you're right at around $30,000, John. I don't know the exact number. But he's made about $30,000 here at Empower Network, has a really fascinating story. So what we're going to do is we're going to dig into his story a little bit, what he did, what he's doing for marketing right now. And also, I'm going to step back in because I noticed a couple things in his account, and he should be making about twice as much money as he is. So we're going to teach him how to do that as well on that and have a lot of value for all of you. So anyways, John, I don't want to ramble on and on and on. Great to have you on the interview. If you could just start off by maybe sharing a little bit about yourself, your background, why you got started into Empower, what you were doing before this, what attracted you here, and kind of what happened. That'd be great. I'll just kind of mute myself out here, and if you need anything more specific on what to talk about, just let me know, buddy. Great to have you on.
Yeah, I really appreciate being on this. It's definitely an honor to be a part of the movement. My name is John Wells. I'm actually 30 years old. I just turned 30 in January, but I sound really young. So when people see me, they think I'm like 21, but really I'm 30, and time is short and I have to make moves. And because of that age, you have to move quick because you only live once. But before this, I was in the real estate market back in 2003 to 2007. I've been in sales all my life, and I realized that when I got into that sector, I was in during the boom. I mean, I saw kids when I first got my job. I saw kids at 18 years old, 19, making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 commissions. It was ridiculous. And when I got in, I was making money like I've never imagined. But the problem there is it didn't last very long. A lot of people came in late, but I bought a nice home. I had a nice car. I had everything, living in Newport Beach in California. And I've had $1 million home, and all of a sudden everything was taken and swept right underneath me. And I've lost everything. I became homeless. I only had my car. I slept in parks. Didn't know what I was going to eat the next day because I was struggling because everything was taken away from me because I didn't manage my money. I mean, there was a lot of people in that market that just made a lot of money, but they spent it all too. And I was one of those people that just expected that I was going to make another sale the next day. So I didn't really have any worries. But after that, I became depressed, 6, 7 months just struggling. And I didn't even want to go into any market with sales. I didn't even want to strive for success anymore. I was just over it. And it just drove me here to Las Vegas. And I came here in Las Vegas around 2007, 8. And I stayed here for 4 years. I mean, I was out on the strip passing out cards. You see those little smutters that pass out those little cards, here, go to this, nightclub, or go to this, escort service, or whatever you want to call it. But, I was hustling, and I just didn't want to do anything else. I just worked for my minimum wage, collect my checks, and just went home, ate, just lived my life. I just didn't want to do it anymore. And one day I just realized that I was fed up. I can't do this anymore. So I got back into the sales industry. And what I saw here in Las Vegas was there were boiler rooms. Everywhere I went, I hopped job to job to job to job to job to job. I mean, I was really talented, and they would say, hey, I want you to manage this office. So I'm like, okay, so I'm going to have to work 7 in the morning until 10 at night. That's no life. And then they're only going to pay me a couple grand a month. That's ridiculous. And I'm just tired of it. I just got sick and tired of it, hopping job to job to job to job. So I decided the beginning of last year, to work from home. I found a direct sales company online, and it wasn't anything about recruiting people. It was just selling stuff to businesses. I was just sick and tired of working for people, so I wanted to work for myself. So I started selling tools to businesses, and that worked for a while. And then that went downhill. And then I was back to zero again. And I always have no money in my bank account. And then, right when Empower came along, I had $300 to my name. And I saw it. I didn't know really what it was, but I didn't have a choice because I don't want to go back and work for anybody. I'm tired of that market. There's just no life. If you want financial freedom, it's just it's just not going to work if you're going to go back to a job, because you got to realize that each year it's getting worse and worse and worse. And what that means is, if you saw last year, Borders shut down 399 stores. I mean, they were the biggest bookstore that you can ever think of, but now they're gone. Why? Because you got the offline market is moving to the online market. So as the years keep going, there's going to be less and less jobs because everything is transitioning to the online market. And I saw that shift, and I had to be a part of it. And when I came in Power, I had $300. I didn't even have enough to go all in. So I sold a couple things in my house, my TV and some other stuff. So I still don't have a TV today. But I went all in, I bought everything. And the reason why I've done so well is because I went all in and I learned all the strategies. I didn't know anything about internet marketing. Everything I learned was through the system, and I just followed everything in there, and I took action on a daily basis, and that's how I've made so much today. And I mean, that's pretty much my story. So,
hey, that's hilarious, by the way. So you're one of those guys that passes out the cards when you're walking to the strip in Vegas?
Yeah, pretty much.
Dude, man, that's awesome, man. We should walk around passing them cards, you know.
I was hungry. I didn't have a choice, and I was desperate for work.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do, man. I mean, there's no shame in just working when you can't find anything else. You know what I'm saying?
And it's better than begging, you know. I'm not a person that begs, you know. I just go out there and find a way to make money. And, you know, they didn't even speak English, and I had to find out how they speak English because I couldn't get a job because all of them were Spanish. So
yeah, no, dude, that's crazy, dude. It really fascinating, by the way, and good to hear your story, because of course when I got started I had nothing too, and it's so easy to turn it around when you just make a decision. And I mean, you just, people are like, well, you know, it's so hard, I got to learn all this stuff. Well, you didn't know anything, you know. So you'd never marketed before, right?
No.
You'd never blog. You didn't have a blog. You weren't like a blogging expert.
No.
No list. You didn't have like a list of 50,000 people to slam.
The only list that I had is maybe a few friends and some email addresses. Nothing fancy, you know.
Okay.
Because there's a thing on Facebook too. If you have Facebook, you can actually go to every one of your friends and click on them, and they'll show their email address, so you can pull email addresses from their profile pages.
Did you do that?
Yeah. So you can pull, I mean, anybody could do that. A lot of people don't know, but it's just sitting right there on everybody's profile page. So, I mean, really, you can go in there and email everybody. If you're wondering how to contact people, I mean, that's another place you can go, is Facebook.